The Kraft Foods Company presents Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you, partially transcribed, by the Kraft Foods Company. Kraft, makers of Velveeta, the famous pasteurized processed cheese food that tastes so good and is so good for you. Yes, Velveeta is another of the Kraft family of fine foods. Foods you can depend on for delicious eating, for wholesome, healthy eating. So remember, to get the cheese food of quality, get Velveeta, the cheese food that's made by Kraft. As water commissioner, the great Gildersleeve leads such a busy life, he occasionally forgets things in his rush to the office. Fortunately, however, he has a nephew who is happy to run errands, especially around allowance day.
Hi, Unc.
Well, Leroy.
Here's your briefcase you left at home.
Thank you, my boy. You made a fast trip?
Yeah, for lugging such a heavy briefcase. What do you have in it, money?
It isn't money.
Now that you've brought up money, Unc, it's allowance day.
I don't recall that I brought it up. Besides, tomorrow is allowance day.
Okay, it's allowance eve. Wouldn't you like to pay me now and get it off your mind?
Yeah, all right, Leroy. Here you are.
Gosh, thanks. Hey, Unc, I thought I saw the mayor's son when I passed his office.
Yes, I understand Freddie's home from private school.
Did he get expelled?
The mayor might hear you.
Well, if he got expelled, the mayor's going to hear about it sooner or later.
No, he didn't get expelled. It seems Freddie develops a little eye trouble every year before examinations.
He always was a slicker. What a nothing. I mean, zero.
No, Leroy, you don't know him well.
Good for me.
You watch it, young man. Now, I know Freddie's about as obnoxious as the mayor. Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, Gildersleeve. Well, hello, Leroy.
Hi, Your Honor.
Leroy just brought me my briefcase, Mr. Mayor.
That's a good boy.
Yeah, well, I better be going. Goodbye, Unc.
Goodbye, my boy.
By the way, Leroy,
Yeah?
you know my son Freddie is back in town?
Yeah.
Leroy and I were just talking about Freddie. Fine boy. Leroy?
Yeah, sure. I gotta be going.
Goodbye, Leroy.
Bye.
Quite a nephew you have there, Gildersleeve.
Thank you.
Sort of the Huck Finn type, regular boy.
That's Leroy.
Now take my son Freddie. Wonderful boy, Gildersleeve.
Oh, yes. Chip off the old block.
Well, no, not exactly. For some reason, Freddie doesn't have many pals. He doesn't seem to care for any of the sports. He's more the young ladies' man. You know what I mean, Gildersleeve.
Oh, yes.
I'd like Freddie to get to know Leroy better. I think you'd do him good.
Well, Leroy'd be delighted to know Freddie better sometime.
Gildersleeve, I'm going to let you arrange that.
Me? Well, I've found that it isn't easy to choose a boy's friends.
Well, you don't mean to imply that your nephew won't like my son?
Oh, no, indeed, Your Honor. It's just that Freddie may not like Leroy.
He'll like Leroy.
How do you know?
I'll tell him to like Leroy.
Well, that's very nice of you, Mr. Mayor.
No, not at all. I'll send Freddie around to see you. Good day, Gildersleeve.
I guess I better tell Leroy to get ready for Freddie.
Oh, Leroy!
Yeah, Marty?
Babs is down here.
Right down.
Don't keep your little girlfriend waiting.
Oh, Bertie, you embarrass me.
Now, Miss Babs, that's what you are, Leroy's girlfriend.
Hi, Babs.
Leroy, you're so noisy.
I'm wearing bigger shoes these days. I'm growing up.
What were you doing?
Reading a comic book.
Oh, that's so moldy. I've been reading Gone with the Wind.
Reading it? I didn't know you could lift it.
Leroy. Don't make fun of anything that has anything to do with that dreamy wreck butler.
Oh, brother, now you're swimming over a Civil War character.
Is he dreamy?
I was going to take you to the matinee at the Strand Saturday, but I don't know if you're going to flip over this wrecked butler.
Oh, you just have to take me to the movie?
You really want to go with me?
There's positively nothing I'd rather do than go to that matinee with you, Leroy.
Yeah? Gosh.
I'm just drooling to see that darling Farley Granger.
Oh, for corn's sake. Competition's getting pretty rough.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hi, Unc.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, nice to see you, Babs.
Are you home, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Yes, Bertie, I'm home.
Okay, I just want to know if you was home.
Leroy, Freddie came in the office after you left.
I left just in time, huh?
It seems Freddie is anxious to pal around with you. He wants to be friends.
Tell him not to hold his breath.
No, my boy. We can't just ignore Freddie Terwilliger.
I can.
Freddie Terwilliger? The mayor's son?
Yeah, the square pill.
Leroy.
Oh, I've seen him. I think he's dreamy.
That does it.
Don't you just love his crew haircut, Mr. Gildersleeve? I think it's just out of this world.
I didn't notice his hair. What do you say, Leroy?
So he's a flathead. Do I have to pal around with him?
Well, I took a small liberty and promised that you boys would get together tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon? Oh, sorry, Unc, but I have a previous engagement.
Oh?
I'm taking Babs to the matinee. Naturally, I can't break a date. Boy Scout, you know, Unc.
Well, I used to be a scout, too. And I promised Freddie you'd do something with him.
Mr. Gildersleeve, I'd hate to miss that matinee.
You see, Unc? Too bad.
I've been looking forward to Leroy taking me.
I can't disappoint a girl, Unc.
So let's take Freddie with us.
Gosh, Unc, Freddie's going to ruin my whole day.
Now, Leroy, look at it this way. If you're nice to the mayor's son, it's a favor to me.
Unc, I know you need all the breaks you can get, but is it fair to me if I lose my girl? Babs practically swooned when you mentioned Freddie.
You'll still be the head man. It's your party.
But Freddie thinks he's such a big shot with the girls.
Well, you can be a big shot with them, too.
Yeah? On my allowance?
Leroy, I'll tell you what I'll do. Before the matinee, you take Babs and Freddie to Peavy's drugstore. And everything will be on me.
Yeah?
Sure. Just say, charge it. Big as you please.
No kidding?
Believe me, my boy, girls are always impressed with charge accounts.
Well, if you think it'll work.
Why, of course it'll work. I'll stop in right now and arrange it with Peavy.
Swell, Unc.
So long, my boy. Sure, I'll foot the bill. It won't hurt me with the mayor. It'll make Leroy look good. Hello, Peavy.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you today?
Peavy, I dropped in to tell you Leroy is giving a little party here in your drugstore.
How's that?
He and Babs are bringing the mayor's son.
Oh, young Freddie?
Yeah. And I told Leroy to charge everything. It'll be all right with me.
How do you know it'll be all right with me?
No, Peavy.
I was just joshing, Mr. Gildersleeve. I think it's very generous of you.
Well,
And I think it's very generous of Leroy, too,
What?
to take Freddie along on his date. When I was a young man courting Mrs. Peavy, I tried to keep her away from all the good-looking fellows.
Well, you were using your head, Peavy.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh?
I'm not sure I did Mrs. Peavy a favor by monopolizing her time. She might have married some handsome millionaire.
No, Peavy, you're handsome.
I know, but I'm not a millionaire.
Oh, my goodness.
What time did Freddie say he'd meet us, Leroy?
That isn't what time he said. I told him to meet us here in front of Peavy's at 2 o'clock. Let's go in and order.
Do you think we should?
Sure. Then we can have something else when he comes. I can charge all I want.
Well, a chocolate nut sundae might settle my nerves. I'm so excited.
About Freddie? He's a real zero. Wait till you meet him. Hello, Mr. Peavy.
Well, good afternoon, Leroy. Babs.
Hello, Mr. Peavy.
Mr. Peavy, I guess you have a reservation for me.
Yes, I think we can take care of you. Do you want your reservation at the soda fountain or in a booth?
We'll take a booth.
Very well.
Why don't we sit at the fountain so we can see Freddie when he comes in?
Here he comes now.
Hello, Mr. Peavy.
Well, hello, Freddie.
Does my hair look all right, Leroy?
Relax.
Leroy, I haven't seen you for some time.
No, you haven't.
Say, what have we here?
Babs, this is Freddie. Freddie, this is Babs.
Hello, Babs.
Hello, Freddie.
Well, let's sit down.
Are we eating here?
Sure, I'm buying, and this is my party. How about a menu, Mr. Peavy?
Well, the soda menu is printed on the mirror right over the fountain.
Is that all you've got?
Well, if I had a bigger menu, I'd have to get a bigger mirror.
Go ahead, Babs. What do you want?
I'll take the chocolate nut sundae.
Very well.
Chocolate nut sundae. Babs, have you ever tried a moron's ecstasy?
Not in here, yet.
Well, I've heard of them.
Well, you don't get them in a joint like this.
How's that?
Well, 2 chocolate nut sundaes and whatever Freddie would like.
I'd like to go to the Eskimo Palace and get a moron's ecstasy. They cost 75 cents.
75 cents?
Natch! They've got 5 kinds of ice cream, 3 kinds of fruit, whipped cream, and candied black walnuts.
They sound simply fab.
Well, gosh. Mr. Peavy, do you think you could make some?
I could, except I might revoke my pharmaceutical license.
We're wasting our time here. Let's go to the Eskimo Palace.
Oh, Freddie, I'd love it.
But I can't charge it there, and this is my party.
Who said anything about charging it? I've got money. Come on, Babs.
Aren't you coming, Leroy?
No, you go if you want to.
Let him stay here.
Yeah, I'd better stay here. I'd rather have one of Mr. Peavy's chocolate sundaes.
Yeah, thank you, Leroy.
Well, if you'd rather. We'll meet you at the theater.
Okay.
Be seeing you, Junior.
Junior, why that...
Leroy,
Yeah?
if you'd like to join them, I'll lend you some money.
No, thanks, Mr. Peavy.
Well, you still have your charge account. Do you want a chocolate sundae?
No, I want those boxing gloves in back of your store.
Well, if you're thinking what I think you are, you can have them wholesale.
Great Gildersleeve will be back in just a moment. What's that? Need help? Menu planning help? Then you need Velveeta, Kraft's famous pasteurized processed cheese food. Smooth melting Velveeta is perfectly wonderful for cooking. Not only for omelets, soufflés, and casseroles, but for a marvelous smooth cheese sauce, too. A glorious golden cheese sauce you can pour over seafood or vegetables or toast or serve any number of ways. And Velveeta sauce is easy to make in just a few minutes. All you do is melt a ½ pound of Velveeta in the top of the double boiler. You'll notice it melts quickly, smoothly, without any lumps. Then stir in a 1/4 cup of milk, a little at a time, season, and there it is. Taste it. See how delicious it is. Full of the fine, rich, yet mild cheddar cheese flavor that's made Velveeta so popular. You'll be glad to know that Velveeta makes this sauce truly nourishing, too. Why, 2 ounces of Velveeta, the amount you get in an average serving, gives you more of milk's vital food values than a big 8-ounce glass of milk. Remember that, Mom, and make Velveeta your handy helper for serving all kinds of healthy, good-eating hot main dishes. Get a 2-pound loaf of Velveeta tomorrow. Just be sure you see the name Velveeta on the package, because Velveeta is the finest quality cheese food you can buy. Velveeta, made only by Kraft. Well, when the great Gildersleeve insisted that Leroy be pals with the mayor's son, he didn't realize the mayor's son would become pals with Leroy's girl. But Leroy can be pushed only so far, then he begins to push back.
How do you like these boxing gloves, Bertie?
Leroy, what you gonna do with them?
You won't say anything to Unc?
Cross my heart.
Well, Freddie Terwilliger's been asking for it, and he's gonna get it.
You gonna punch the mayor's son?
Right on his stuck-up nose.
Boy, do you know what you're doing? Your uncle works for the mayor.
So what?
If you hit the mayor's son in the nose, you're the same as slugging the breadwinner below the belt.
Yeah, but Freddie's got it coming. You should have seen him take Babs right out of Mr. Peavy's and leave me flat.
He did.
He can't do that to me, and neither can Babs. I'm going to give her a chance to drop Freddie, and if she doesn't, I'm going to clean his clock.
What's he gonna be doing?
I'll be ready for him. All I need is somebody to spar with. How about putting on the gloves with me, Bertie?
Me?
Here, come on, put up your dukes.
Boy, a lady don't put on boxing gloves. A lady uses a rolling pin.
Man, I'm going to sharpen up my old 1-2 and take them on.
Leroy!
Uh-oh, here comes Unc. You hide the gloves while I go out and talk to him.
Okay, I'll put him in the bread box.
Oh, Leroy!
Coming, Unc.
My boy.
Yeah?
Peavy told me about what happened at the drugstore.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I'm sorry Freddie just walked off with Babs.
That's okay.
That was very rude of the mayor's son, I must say.
That's okay.
I guess you didn't even get to use my charge account at Peavy's.
I used it.
Good. Don't let this worry you, my boy.
I'm not the one who has to worry.
Yeah, I suppose Babs is attracted to Freddie because he's a little older than you are and a little larger.
He can be cut down to size.
What's that?
Be seeing you, huh?
All right. Be seeing you. I have a feeling that boy isn't telling me everything. Bertie!
Any catching, Mr. Gillis, please?
Bertie, do you know what Leroy is up to?
Leroy?
My nephew, Bertie.
Oh, him.
Yeah, I know something's going on, but Peavy wouldn't tell me anything, and Leroy wouldn't tell me anything. Now you pretend you don't know anything.
I do?
I'm going to get to the bottom of this if I... Hey, are these shoelaces hanging out of the bread box?
Shoelaces?
Bertie, how did they get there?
Well, could be the bread man ran out of string and tied the bread with the shoelaces.
Bertie, you're covering up something. I better look in the bread box. Boxing gloves.
Well, what do you know?
All right, Bertie. How did it happen?
Mr. Gilsleeve thinks the bread man brings bread, and he comes home and finds boxing gloves in the bread box.
How did it happen?
Yes, sir, Mr. Gilsleeve thinks the bread man brings bread, and he finds boxing gloves in the bread box.
Bertie.
Mr. Gilsleeve, when you came home, you know what you found in the bread box?
Yes, Bertie.
That's right, you found boxing gloves in the bread box.
Well, I'm not going to get anything out of Bertie. Where did that Leroy go?
Well, this is it. I'll just tell Babs it's Freddie or me. She can choose between us right now. If it's me and Freddie starts coming around, I'll sock him. If it isn't me, I'll really sock him.
Why, Leroy.
Yeah.
How nice to see you.
Yeah?
Come in.
Okay.
Sit down, Leroy.
Well, I didn't come over to sit down.
Well, what did you come over for?
Well, I've been thinking. And I'm wondering, too.
Yes, Leroy?
I'm not going to beat around the bush. How was the movie?
Well, you know how I feel about Farley Granger. He was fab. Simply fab.
How was Freddie?
Well, Freddie was very nice to take me. We waited for you.
I didn't show up.
Is that why you came over? To apologize?
Apologize? I came over to see if it's him or me.
Oh, Leroy, you sound so serious.
I am serious. Who'd you rather be with, him or me?
Well, that depends on who I'm with, him or you.
What do you mean?
I don't know what I mean. Sometimes I don't understand myself.
Yeah?
Maybe I should see a psychiatrist. I just like the boy I'm with when I'm with him.
That's silly.
I like you now, Leroy.
You do?
And when I was having a moron's ecstasy with Freddie, I liked Freddie.
Yeah?
And in the movie, when Freddie went out to get some popcorn and left me alone with Farley Granger saying, "Darling, you're mine alone," that was simply the end.
Gosh.
And then Freddie came back with the popcorn, and somehow I forgot all about Farley.
What did you like then? The popcorn? Oh, Leroy. Well, I guess I better go.
Oh, I don't want you to go, Leroy. I think this minute I like you better than anybody.
You do?
Oh, excuse me while I answer the phone.
Sure. I'm in. Now I won't have to punch Freddie in the nose.
Hello? Oh, hello, Freddie. No, I'm not doing a thing.
How about that?
Next Saturday? Oh, I just love to go to the matinee with you.
Gosh, I was going to ask her.
Go steady with you? Oh, Freddie.
That does it. I gotta punch him in the nose.
I wonder what Leroy is doing out there in the garage. Say, he's skipping rope.
That's enough road work, Leroy.
Okay, Bertie.
What's this?
Now slip on the gloves and punch the bag a while.
Is Bertie coaching him?
How's this, Bertie?
Say, Leroy's pretty good.
Now bring one up from the floor, Leroy.
Okay.
He nearly knocked it off the hook.
That would have taken care of Freddie.
Freddie?
Now wind up and let him have that bolo punch.
Wait a minute. Stop the fight.
Oh, hi, Unc.
Uh-oh. I just remembered something in the oven.
Yes. Leroy, what's this about punching Freddie?
Well, he asked for it, Unc. I tried to be friends with him like you said, but it didn't work. I'm going to take the gloves and hunt him down.
You'll do no such thing. Popping Freddie isn't going to settle anything.
It is if I pop him hard enough.
Young man, you and Freddie will talk this thing over like little gentlemen.
Oh, Unc.
I want you in my office at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'll ask Freddie to be there.
Why don't you let me handle this my way?
Because your way is the wrong way, my boy.
For corn's sake. If he wasn't the mayor's son, I'll bet I could pop him.
Young man, the fact that I happen to be water commissioner and the mayor happens to be my boss has nothing to do with it.
Nearly 10 o'clock, Unc. Where is the little stuffed shirt?
Now, Leroy, just have a seat.
I'll bet he's home talking to Babs on the telephone.
Good morning, Gildersleeve.
Well, Mr. Mayor, good morning.
Hello, Leroy.
Hi.
I just popped in to see how our boys are getting along.
Fine, Mr. Mayor. The boys were together yesterday afternoon.
Good.
And I'm getting them together again in my office this morning.
Splendid.
In fact, it's hard to keep them apart.
Well, I feel this association with Leroy will do Freddie a lot of good, Gildersleeve, and I'm leaving everything in your hands.
Well, thank you for your confidence, Mr. Mayor.
Good day, Gildersleeve. Goodbye, Leroy.
Goodbye, Mr. Mayor.
Come on.
Now, Leroy, you see how important this is to Mayor Terwilliger?
Yeah, but if he thinks I'm going to run around with that Freddie...
Well, good morning, Freddie.
Hello.
Hi.
Sit down, Freddie.
What's this meeting about? Let's get it over. I've got a date. Hey, that Babs is a cute dish, Leroy.
Let's get on with the meeting.
Well, let's sit down, everybody.
I'll take your big chair, Commissioner.
I'll sit in my chair, Freddie. You sit over there with Leroy.
I don't want to sit with Leroy.
Okay, sit on the floor.
Now, see here, boys. There's no reason why you shouldn't get along. And I suspect both of you are at fault. Now, I've already talked to Leroy, Freddie, and now I have a couple of things to say to you.
You're kidding.
Yesterday, you offended Mr. Peavy in his drugstore. And you took advantage of Leroy's hospitality.
Commissioner, are you telling the boss's son what to do? You're living dangerously.
Now, Freddie, let's be courteous.
Oh, I know what this is all about.
What?
I took Leroy's girlfriend, so the little shrimp comes crying to you.
Crying?
Sure. You got sore at me, so you're trying to get even through your big fat uncle.
Oops.
You can't say that about my uncle. Put up your dukes.
Leroy.
Hurry up, I gotta do it.
Now, don't touch me, Leroy Ford.
I'm running. Put up your dukes.
Leroy.
My father's right down the hall. Now, stop it.
Freddie didn't make it. There they go down the hall. I wonder if Leroy realizes what this could mean.
That'll do, boys. That'll do.
Uh-oh. Here comes the mayor.
Gildersleeve,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
do you know your nephew struck my son?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Freddie will have a black eye.
Well, I didn't see it happen, but...
Oh, you should have seen it. Leroy led with the left and crossed with the right. Beautiful.
Oh?
This is just what Freddie needed. A regular boy like Leroy to cut him down to size.
Well...
Gildersleeve, how do you raise a fine boy like Leroy?
Well, mostly I do a lot of worrying.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us in just 30 seconds. If sandwiches are pretty popular at your house, make sure you're supplied with the best sandwich filler you can buy. Keep stocked with Velveeta, Kraft's golden pasteurized processed cheese food. Velveeta gives you sandwiches that are delicious with a fine, rich, yet mild cheddar flavor. Velveeta gives you sandwiches that are nourishing. And Velveeta is digestible as milk itself. For wonderful sandwiches and snacks, get the cheese food of finest quality, Velveeta, made by Kraft.
Folks, this is Gildersleeve again. Along about this time every year, a lot of families get ready for June graduation exercises. As the young graduates look to the future, we parents with younger children should also look to the future. Next fall, about 1 million new students will register in our elementary schools. There'll be a need for more and better facilities, and for more teachers for the younger grades. By taking an interest in our schools, all of us can help make sure that the community we live in provides the best possible educational opportunities for all our children. Let's remember, better schools build a stronger America. Good night, folks.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman. The show is written by John Elliott and Andy White and is partially transcribed. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Lillian Randolph, Stanley Farrar, Barbara Whiting, Tommy Bernard, and Dick LeGrand. Musical compositions by Jack Meakin. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next week and every week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Delicious cold cuts for luncheon or supper make a welcome change of pace from the hot meals you've been serving. Easy to fix, too. But here's a tip. Be sure there's delicious Kraft prepared mustard on the table. Because when you add a little mustard, you add a lot of tang. There are two kinds of Kraft mustard. Mild Kraft mustard, so smooth and delicately spiced, and Kraft mustard with snappy horseradish added to give it extra zip. Keep both kinds on hand for different tastes. Next time, get Kraft prepared mustard.
Tonight, play You Bet Your Life on NBC.
You've been listening to the OTR Gold Network. Find more classic radio at otrgold.com.